What happened to the smartest kid in your class? He was smart enough to never associate with people from high school again. He has never attended our union and it's been over 30 years. He went to MIT, works for Apple, and has a very expensive home in California. He also has a wife and 4 kids and seems to be very happy. I remember he was programming games in high school and was valedictorian. A big nerd who became a wealthy nerd. Smartest guy from my high school became an actual rocket scientist. Superstar pediatric neurosurgeon. Most confident person I've ever met. Guess you'd have to cut open a little kid's skull and operate on their brain. He moved to Poland and became a molecular biologist. She worked at Johns Hopkins doing research with psilocybin. There were 2. They were twins. They're both geneticists now with PhDs, and they work at the same university. The smartest one I knew ended up drowning, tragically, right after we graduated. I wish I could have seen him make an impact on the world. Died from a brain tumor right after he graduated high school. He was dang smart. Could play the piano upside down too. Guy had 3 scholarship offers, lasted 1 year in uni before jumping off a building. Feel sorry for him and his family. My best friend, at the time, we drifted apart and speak only rarely now. He got a PhD at Harvard, studied science in Antarctica, and now teaches at an Ivy League university. Dropped out of college to marry and support the much younger woman he got pregnant. Now, 30 years later, owns a board game store with a large back room for mini painting and games and plays Dad Tohaf, the neurodivergent kids in town. Still married to the same woman too. It's not a high-flying life, but he makes a difference to so many people. I'm just scrolling Reddit ATM. I had such a big crush on her and told her. We dated, she moved across country to study and is now a doctor. So proud of her even though our lives changed paths. The smartest kid in my school was really popular and was one of my closest friends. But when he graduated, he left everyone and everything behind, including his family. He even changed his name. I found out this little bit of information because a friend went to an academic conference and showed me a group photo and he was in it. I exclaimed, "That's my friend Pascal." He kept his first name but his last name was an anagram of his original name. AMN, this thread is ucking depressing. He's in jail for murder. Came as a surprise. He spent years researching how to cloak himself like the Predator from the 1987 film with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He got surprisingly far before he ended up getting a top-secret government job. Haven't heard from him since. Maybe he's a secret agent, maybe he actually became the Predator? No one knows. She got a PhD in neuroscience from Stanford and I think she's a professor or associate professor somewhere now. She was possibly the sweetest girl I'd ever met. I was an intelligent underachiever and ended up in a few AP courses with her because our teachers saw my test scores and refused to continue to let me do dipshit things with my dipshit friends. She was always super proud of me when I actually showed up and put some effort in and, lo and behold, got excellent marks. Honestly, she really turned around the last 2 years of HS for me. Also, she's wicked hot now. A hot genius. Disappeared into a shadowy government job. Poof, gone. Why did that one kid get expelled? For lifting up his shorts and exposing his alls through the leg hole to the principal while said principal was escorting potential investors for the school. Playing kickball in gym class, kid kicked his shoe off and his bag of weed came flying out right to the teacher's feet. He stabbed another kid with a letter opener he made in shop class. We didn't make letter openers in shop class after that. Edit. This was in junior high in the mid-90s. Y'all reminded me of the time a different kid got expelled for writing fanfic about kidnapping and torturing the cheerleading team. Thought he was funny and decided to grab the SRO, Student Resource Officer's, gun. Our SRO also happened to be part of SWAT. He did this as we all left end of day, crowded hall. I remember this vividly over 20 years later. This was also post-Columbine by like a month. Kid got slammed into AWOL, put in cuffs. Arrested and expelled immediately. Peeing on a teacher who wouldn't let him go to the bathroom. Tackled and restrained by coaches after he grabbed a bat from the storage room with the intention of beating his pregnant math teacher with it. He brought a gun to school and posted it on Snapchat. Instantly got caught and expelled. Stupidest thing anyone has ever done, but also a blessing in disguise. Planned a food fight that turned into a riot with property damage and then fled from the police. Downloading ORN on the school computers was the last straw. He even used his own login. Kindergartner. Long list of threatening behaviors, foster kid with every kind of past abuse, told Mayhay was going to shoot himself and then come shoot me. I refrained from pointing out his lapse in logistics. Stabbed a kid for mocking his dead sister. Him and his cousin beat up the deputy principal and tried to kill him with a spade, at school. No charges ended up being laid. Later went on to kill a tourist during the 2000 New Year's and dump his body in the harbor. Edit. Brothers not cousins memory is a little hazy after 23 years. I personally didn't know them but knew enough to stay the UCK away from them. They were known for being trouble kids. Our art teacher stopped the attack. He's a hero emo. Well done sleuths for finding the articles. Here's one. A girl got drunk at a house party. Some guy ejaculated on her hair and took photos of it, as well as a few photos of her naked and unconscious. The girl's boyfriend went John Wick on the guy when he got emailed the photos by the guy. He was sent away for beating the hit out of this sexual assaulter, who wasn't even given detention, and the girl's photos got sent around for years and people called her loot. Terrible school. Edit. I was away for 12 hours and this has kinda blown up. It was a big school, so if you think that it's your school, there's a chance it was. The guy knocked out most of the teeth of that bloke, and there was a long debate about whether it was justified. I reckon it was. Edit 2. This was in Australia, and I have no idea how any of the involved are now. I could ask, but don't want to. They were a couple of years above me. Running through the cafeteria at lunch naked with a backpack on that he set on fire. He just kept hitting his pants. There was nothing wrong with him. He just kept doing it. Same place, same time, every day. Right after recess when we lined up to go inside, he just let loose the fattest and wettest fart hit you'd ever heard, and it would echo through the silent hallway for literally everyone in the grade to hear. At first we thought it was just embarrassing for him, but by the time week 2 came around, we were all convinced he was doing it intentionally. I have no explanation because he was kicked out after like 3 months of consistently doing it. Edit. I nearly forgot. He would announce to everyone he hit himself too by saying, and I quote, whoops. I pooped myself. Happened in kindergarten. There was a kid named Dexter who had severe anger issues. Every day a small group of kids would get certain jobs to do around the classroom, such as line leader, table cleaner, etc. Dexter got the table cleaner position and he was absolutely livid since he wanted to be line leader. What started off as a screaming fit escalated into him throwing scissors around the class, biting the teacher's hand, shattering a window with his flying scissors, breaking the tank that housed the class gerbils, and just trashing the entire classroom. The rest of the students had to evacuate the class while the teacher and principal attempted to restrain him. Security had to get involved. Never saw him again after that day. Giving a BJ in the staircase with glass walls facing the cafeteria windows during lunch. Middle school. He was really into Assassin's Creed, video game, and main character is an assassin. He also seemed like a slightly depressed, edgy kid. I became friends with him during his last 2 to 3 weeks. He told me he wanted to make a cool stabby blade thing that shoots out of his sleeve like in the video game. I told him that would be cool, but I was never dumb enough to do it myself. He actually made it and brought it to school. We spent a couple of days of recess and lunch running around and I watched him terrorize some of the kids, including myself. I never thought he'd harm anyone though. Someone must have told on him. School supervisor guy came in, asked for him and his backpack, and he never came back. I think I saw him a few years later and he thought I was the one that told on him. I tried to deny it but didn't want to risk getting into an argument. Flopped his ick on another dude's shoulder in his room at study hall. Boarding school is weird. Walked out of English class to talk to another kid in the hall. The teacher was real lax so she didn't care. He walked out to talk to this guy. Fight breaks out in the hall. Teacher runs out, other teachers come help break up the fight. One teacher asks the kid that walked out class why they were fighting and he said, he stole my weed. Kid who left class was selling and the kid in the hall tried to walk off without paying. Any other BS excuse would have just got him suspended. What's an actual victimless crime? Jaywalking when there are no cars on the road. Sleeping in your car when you are too drunk and can't drive. Downloading very old games that are no longer available for sale. Emulating and or pirating a game that is no longer available by any means. As an nurse, I give a lot of hit-away top patients against the rules or advise them where they can get it cheaper. Big hospitals have more money than God, but want me to send you home with 1 or 2 wound supplies for a wound that will take 4 weeks to heal. UCK that. Here's a box of 50 for your purse. I never gave that to you. Hey, you need crutches, and here they are, but first. Before you sign that you got these. These crutches are $1,000. The same or better are on Amazon for $50 or less. I'm not telling you how to live your life, but I can offer you a free wheelchair ride out to your son's car. You could argue that the hospital is the victim here. I'm telling you that the hospital gets a discount on supplies and marks them up 1000% to sell to those going through an emergency. Who's really the victim? Edit. Appreciate all the support. Don't take this the wrong way, but I hope I never have the pleasure of taking care of any of you. Stay healthy people and keep living your life to the best you can. To those saying I could get fired for this, I appreciate the concern. I can almost guarantee I will one day be fired for this. It's worth it, Tome. I will get another job in a different and continue my work. Regarding the people saying I'm contributing to the problem. The problem is in the USA healthcare model. Everything from insurance to CEOs. If my treatment and proper care of the individual is contributing to the problem, frankly, I don't think I care tbh. I will continue. Lastly, various arguments have been made to if thesis a victimless crime or not. I don't disagree with some, but it's the closest thing I have to answer the question. Apologies if it doesn't 100% fit. Stay beautiful people. Putting coins in someone else's parking meter. Eating food out of someone's garbage. Many things if they're simply not witnessed. Taking off your pants in the park at night is absolutely a crime, actually two separate crimes, but if nobody is there to see it, no harm has been done, and there's nobody to be bothered that you trespassed after sundown. Downloading a car. Owning 7 dildos in Texas. I would pay to see the deliberation that led to the decision that owning 6 dildos is fine, but 7 is a crime. Dumpster diving.